Hi, my name's Sam Ivin, and this is my project on community nurses. The project is based in South Wales and focuses on two nurses, one in the urban area of Newport and the other in the rural village of Usk. The project aims to give an insight to how the nurses work, their relationship with patients, and how they carry out their practice. This is district nurse Natalie Cook walking through a care home. Natalie's been a district nurse for about 2 years now and has been a nurse for 5 years in total. She originally started on an A&E ward and wanted to spend more time with the patients, so became a district nurse, and she's now studying her district nursing degree. This is Jackie O'Leary in a farmhouse in the small rural village of Usk. This is one of many places that she visits, and she's been a nurse for over 40 years, so very experienced, and is now a team manager, so manages a small team of nurses who cover a wide area considering how small the team is. This is Natalie checking a patient, just one of many checkup rounds she'll do during a day. She'll see about 14 patients in a day. This can go up to 18 or as little as 10 maybe. This photograph for me is important because it shows the cultural diversity and often how open and willing to help the partners and families are of patients. Just to me it is important because it shows the great lengths that nurses go to help patients and their families out. This is Jackie O'Leary opening a gate in Usk at a farmhouse. They have to visit various locations in Usk that are quite a far distance away. I mean, they can easily travel 5, maybe 10 miles between patients. This is Natalie on one of her rounds. In Newport, you'll visit a big variety of people, but in quite a confined space compared with a rural area. So she'll visit a lot of patients in a day, and this is her just coming back from a patient. This is Jackie examining a patient and removing some stitches after, due to Alzheimer's, he had a fall. And this as well, you can get hints of the wealthiness of the person, which I quite like, because again it shows the huge range of diversity that these people meet. There's people from all types of backgrounds are seen by district nurses. It shows how, you know, at some point when we age and when we're elderly, we might all have to rely on these people. You can see by the tubes in this photograph and by the scarring on the chest that it's a very complex operation that this person has had. It's a double mastectomy, and the nurses will come in and drain the blood from the mastectomy. This can take 2 weeks or maybe longer, and I took this and used it to show just how highly trained these nurses are. This is an oxygen tube. The lady in this house had to wear it for 15-22 hours a day, and for me this sums up care in the home. Having this oxygen tube, you know, along an ordinary carpet, I think it's a very simple photograph, and gives some breathing space in the project as well. I included this one because there's quite a lot of intense stuff going on, so it was important for me to have, I needed photographs which gave a bit of space to breathe in it. This is an elderly woman with Alzheimer's. I focused on the foot and the shoe because she was having a bunion checkup, but she does have a few underlying issues as well. And the whiteness of the foot is purely to do with age, no particular ailment. But this really, you get an idea of this, of just how close many of these people are to dying. A lot of people during the project, at least 5 died, and this gives you a real sense of just how fragile we are, so I wanted to reflect this fragility in the picture. This is a photograph of a woman from the Czech Republic, and she's having a cancer treatment. They call it the central line or Hickman line, where they have to clean out the tube, the nurses, once a week to make sure the hole is clear, the line is clear into their chest for the chemotherapy to take place. This is a simple photograph of the process, the action happening. The man's being given an insulin injection, which he receives daily, probably twice a day, and I like to think it shows the collaboration between the nurses and the patients as well. This was taken in a farmhouse, and this man is visited daily for the last 20 years, I believe, and occasionally the nurses may have a cup of tea with them if they have time. For me, again, this shows just the relationship with patients, and it just gives you insight into the different settings they see. This is one of my favourite images. It's Natalie checking a bedbound man for pressure sores. And I really like this one because it shows the caring nature that Natalie has for her patients. You know, people, bedbound people, such as the man here, they really need these nurses. And by 2025, the Royal College of Nursing has said that we may not have them. They are critically endangered, and are asking the government to produce 10,000 more positions, because 35% of the nurses at the moment are over 50, and that's really worrying because in 20 years' time, who will be caring for these people? District nursing, I think, is really important because not only is it for a medical reason and long-term chronic conditions, it's also because it's a social aspect as well. Many of these people, especially bedbound people and people who are restricted to the house, these are one or two people that they'll see each day. Maybe their carers, the nurses, and maybe a couple of other people. So having this regular visit gives them some consistency to their lives and adds a social aspect as well, which is really important for health. And taking away those district nurses, life would just be much more mundane for a few people. And a lot of the nurses as well, because sometimes they can have longer chats with the patients rather than being in a hospital where I've heard from Natalie and other nurses, it's a lot more rushed. You're down to a schedule. You don't have that time to converse with the patients and get to the root of problems. So I think those are the main reasons why it's very important. I wasn't allowed in this house, which was quite rare actually. A lot of people on the project were perfectly willing to let me in and photograph them. Sometimes they wouldn't give me permission to photograph their face, but occasionally I wasn't allowed in the house, and paid off for this one actually. I think you get a real sense of the rural area. This photograph is one of my favourites because it captures the sense of anticipation the nurses often feel whilst waiting for the door to be answered. They don't always know the exact situation inside with the condition or the patient, and I feel this photograph shows that. This is Natalie opening a letter when we went into this particular room, where I realised there was no patient. And sometimes there is confusion and miscommunication, and this patient had actually been taken to hospital. So Natalie was just checking mail just to see if there was any sign that he'd been moved or transferred anywhere. Unfortunately, this patient did end up dying on this occasion. This is one of the first portraits I took of Jackie, but I feel it represents her very well. She's a very caring person, but also very determined as well, and quite strong-willed. I think with the eyes staring back at you in the photograph, you get a sense of that.